What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 53 of The Charge to the Top, here with Hereford FC, and today I've got for you guys a live commentary against Southend. As you can see, if you were to look at the date in the top right, it's the 2nd of March. It's actually been a little over 2 months since the last episode, or under 2 months actually, I should say, because of course last time out it was against Millwall, which if you didn't see... Why are you here? You're missing out on how we've got here. Anyway, since that game, we've actually played quite a lot of football. I do want to go over some things that happened off the pitch, though. First and foremost, stadium. New stadium being built, yes. Well, it's in the planning phases. So hopefully, obviously, we can secure the loan and funding for that stadium. As you can see, the planning is set to be complete in just over a year's time, so that'll be good. The news item, I think, hinted at the fact the stadium itself may hold 11,000 fans, but regardless, just to get a new stadium in itself is obviously fantastic news for the club long term. Anyway, you'll notice by our money, Jack, you've acquired a lot of money. I have. Do you want to know why I've acquired a lot of money? Because my board are absolutely terrible. Right, who have you lost, Jack? Let's have a look. Where is he? Here he is. Liam Evans. He's gone. He's left us. I tried to loan him back. He didn't want to come back on loan. He saw the pearly lights of Watford and decided that was that. They accepted a £1.1 million bid, my board. I'm a little bit annoyed about that, and by a little bit I mean I'm incredibly annoyed. Some people might be asking, Jack, could you not protest the transfer? It actually turns out that if two teams bid on a player on the same day, as far as I'm aware at least this is the case, I couldn't find the button to protest the transfer, but if a player has two offers on the same day, both which are accepted by the board, and there's another bid which is rejected by the board or left open to you, you can't protest the transfers that were accepted. So we have to live and deal with it, I guess. Liam Evans, £1.1 million, gone to Watford. Not ideal. A few other players did leave as well. Antonio Romano left. He has gone to... Or Romano left. I've got his name wrong again even. When he's left the club, I'm still getting his name wrong. But Romano here, he's gone to Gillingham. That was an okay little deal for us. Oliver Anderson, we've lost him for £10,000. I just wanted to get him off the wages, really. We signed him for £275,000. Obviously, I was hoping he was going to be one of those players we made a quick buck off. I think in hindsight, he was a bit of a mistake. He just wasn't good enough, and he wasn't as young as some of the other options we've, of course, been bringing in over the last few years and then moving on for some nice money. So I decided just to kind of, I guess, take my losses there. The only other player who left permanently on deadline day was actually Kofi Lamptey, a player who you may remember we signed at the start of the year from AFC Wimbledon. He's actually gone to Rotherham, of course, a team who have, well, they've signed a few of our regens over the years, and he's gone there for £600,000, which is a good bit of money, and we have reinvested that. And the player I've reinvested that in, this is going to be a throwback. Does this ring a bell? ASEC? It should do with a few of you, I hope. Yes, as you can see here, we have this guy, Guy Akasu. He's joining us in the summer, 17 years old. Plays for ASEC, which, if you don't know, is a team in the Ivory Coast. An absolutely incredible side for looking for good young players. He's joining us for I think, £400,000. He's 17. He's got 20 determination. His physicals all look very, very solid. He's already a very well kind of rounded centre mid. Particularly his mentals are very, very good for his age. And he's in the van. He's joining us in the summer. Hasn't got a work permit. But, well, some of you guys may remember one Eric Sanogo, a player who we signed, I believe, when I was Lewis manager in League One back on FM15. I think he's a similar mould to him. So hopefully he can come good for us, of course, not joining us to the summer. We have made a few other transfers, of course. We did sign Rumsby early on in the transfer window. I covered this last episode. I've not actually given him much game time, but with Harry Lennon out injured, this guy, he's going to be getting a little bit run in the first team, and it's actually going to start today. But you can see we signed a few other players. Of course, with those players departing, there are a few voids to fill, particularly the striker position. And truth be told, there weren't that many options when it came to strikers. But, well, let's talk about a player who isn't a striker first and foremost. This guy, Martin McTeer, we signed him from Atletico. I have no idea what this Englishman was doing playing for Atletico B, but we've got him in on loan. He's a very good right midfielder. So far, 3 assists and 1 goal in 4 games. His average rating isn't that great, but he has come good for us. So far, he's looking like he could be a very useful player out on the right wing with tons of pace. Anyway, another player we brought in this time on a permanent deal was Stephen Boyd. Very good kind of centre attacking mid. I'm actually contemplating playing him as a deep line playmaker. Whilst he's not the greatest player defensively, you can see looking at him here, a very, very good little playmaker really for our level of team. He joins us on just a measly £850 a week. good deal to get done. He's a free transfer. He also has pretty good attacking ability, so if we do need a striker, maybe he can, do a role there for us. A very kind of well-rounded and fairly versatile attacking midfielder. Anyway, the other player we brought in, a player who's not actually played for the club yet, really brought in as a precaution. This guy, Hillman, he's a Welsh youngster, as you can see, capped at under-21s, on loan from Cardiff. Really, I just see this guy as a bit of backup in the striker position. With Evans leaving, I wanted to make sure that we didn't have another injury crisis. Of course, there was a stage earlier on this season where we were pretty much without a striker, so I didn't want that to reoccur. So anyway, since the last episode, which was quite some time ago against Millwall, you can see it's really been a mixed bag of results. It probably looks a little bit worse than it is with all the red, considering that a few of these were cup games. The Checkatrade Trophy, we'll start with that. We lost 2-1 to Arsenal's under-23s, an own goal knocked us out. Not ideal, but I mean, you look at the Arsenal kind of team, they're playing players like Iwobi. I mean, he's a bit better than our players, isn't he? And Reece Nelson as well, I mean, these players, I don't get why the under-23s are in the EFL Cup. In real life, I think it's a terrible idea. In Football Manager, you just get kind of probed by them. It's not particularly fun. If we look at the Checkatrade Trophy here, you can see every year since they kind of came in the under-23s, they've won the competition. Actually, Oxford might be the exception there. But regardless, it's just a bit silly, and it's meant to be a youth development tournament, but the top goal scorers are Rondon, who's 32, I mean, go figure, Berahino, who's 28, and also Marcus Rashford, who's 24. I mean, what is this? It's an under-23s competition, and the top 3 goal scorers are 24 or older. Answers on a postcard, I guess. But yeah, we lost in that. And in the FA Cup, unfortunately, our good little run came to a crushing end at Barnsley. Actually got annihilated 3-0, as you can see. They scored 3 goals in the first 8 minutes and 2 in the same minute. Not ideal, and really, it was kind of game over after that point, and we did well, I guess, just to hold on in the end and keep the scoreline semi-respectable in the end. 3-0 is how it finished. So anyway, if I just get rid of those results, because I feel like they make everything look just a little bit worse. If we just hide them, you can see since the Millwall game, it's not been great, but it's not really been terrible. It's very much been a case of, there's the old saying, isn't there, kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I feel like for us this year, we've not really been pulling away from the pack. Instead, it's been kind of 1 step forward, 1 step back. It feels like, one match day we find ourselves 4 points clear in a promotion spot. Next game, we're 1 point clear again. It's kind of been a bit of that, really. Anyway, going through these games in order, you'll notice the form has picked up actually in more recent games, but we start off with Leyton Orient here. A very tight game, lots of back and forth in this. Unfortunately, however, for us, we lost. Craig Tanner with a crucial goal. It was a game in which either team, I think, could have won. Unfortunately for us, as you'll see as we go through these games, we've been struggling for goals a little bit. Liam Evans obviously playing this game, but with his kind of departure, Kevin Kelly, he's been on a little bit of a goal drought. He did score actually in our most recent game, but prior to that I think he had gone 7 matches without scoring. James Maddison as well, the goals have kind of dried up for him a little bit. You can see here a 6.3 rating for him. Definitely kind of below the kind of standards he set for himself. Anyway, we managed to get a good little home point against Cambridge, but in the context of kind of these recent games, this was less than ideal. Gary Medine, an 86th minute penalty, drew Cambridge level. Yes, you can see, looking at the stats, we were the better team. We dominated for large spells. To be fair, they had more clear-cut chances. We had 4 half chances, though. We didn't take them. And in the end, to concede late on to only get a draw was a bitterly disappointing result in kind of the terms of kind of our title aspirations as a whole. Anyway, the next game we had against Colchester, embarrassing is the best word I can use to describe this. Danny Johnston, he actually got a hat-trick in 14 minutes. A fair play to him. But Colchester, they kind of humbled us, I guess. It looks like they demolished us. It was a bit of a smash and grab. I say this, they created loads of clear-cut chances, but as you can see, 6 shots, 6 on target, 4 goals. I mean, I can only really shrug my shoulders there. To be fair, Rob Elliott in goal maybe didn't have the best game, but again, kind of a sign of our lack of goals in the end. Jack Barmby getting a solitary goal for us there. In our next game, we got a good little 2-1 win, actually. We beat AFC Wimbledon. Went down to the wire. It was Jack Barmby once more getting a crucial goal for us. It was also good to see Mikatir actually scoring his debut. A youngster, 20 years old, on loan from Atletico. A little bit of pressure on him. You can see, naturally, actually, a centre midfielder. We've been playing him as a winger on attack. Obviously, he's crossing and dribbling. A little bit of a letdown, but he's quite technically gifted. Got great pace and acceleration as well, which is good to see. A consistent performer. And yeah, these technicals are very, very good, particularly his first touch. Long shots aren't too bad either. And well, it was good to see him kind of make an instant impact. Of course, as you can see here, looking at this AFC Wimbledon game, this was the first game following on from the transfer window, and it's our first game without Evans. Anyway, the next game, another 2-1, another obviously very similar result. It was fortunate though, as you can see, looking at the stats, Newport County, they're going to feel like we did the smash and grab on them here. I feel like they kind of level themselves out. Jack Barmby again, getting another 2 goals for us. He's been on fire really recently. He's got 3 goals in his last 5 games. He's been bailing us out big time with our strikers and Maddison just not really getting on the score sheet. You'll see here Bentosa missed a penalty late on. Rob Elliott did actually save that. So fair play to him. He made up perhaps for his error in the previous game with some kind of good saves there, including that penalty. In the penultimate game of this run of results, we actually lost 3-1 against Coventry. Disappointing, we actually took a very early lead, Maddison getting the goal. However, Kevin Holt was sent off at half-time. And well, with us already trailing at 2-1 and with Rob Elliott out with a stubbed finger, it wasn't looking that great for us. You know, an injured goalkeeper, down to 10 men, chasing a game. And unfortunately, the inevitable happened. Sordell grabbed a second kind of goal to, I guess, make the lead for 2 goals as opposed to the one it was, and that was kind of that, I guess, as far as that game was concerned. Anyway, in our most recent game, we actually beat Walsall 2-0, a good result. As I mentioned, Kevin Kelly, been on a bit of a goal drought, pleased, I guess, just to get him back to scoring. He got a goal against Walsall. Also worth noting with this guy, he's agreed to extend his loan to the end of next season, so that's a very, very good deal for us as far as we're concerned. Obviously, with Evans going out to Watford, they don't actually really have a spot for Kevin Kelly at the moment, even in the under-23, so they were willing to let us loan him for a little bit longer. And to be fair to him, this lad, 19 years old, he's improved a lot. Physically, you know, he's still maybe lacking a little bit of strength, a little bit of balance. Maybe his agility could be a little bit better. But he's a very, very good advanced forward, certainly at this level. He's got room to grow, and I'm kind of delighted that we've got him on for another year, because he, at least for now, plugs kind of a big gap in our team in terms of our lack, I guess, of an out-and-out goal scorer. He is very much kind of our first choice kind of striker at this moment in time. James Maddison also getting a goal, that was good to see. And with those results, if we just look at the league table, obviously not the greatest form, but not the worst form either. We find ourselves still top of the pile. You'll notice a big change really behind us. Charlton up to 2nd, Bury in 3rd, Birmingham in 4th. Tranmere have made their way up into 6th. Of course, Tranmere went up with us through the playoffs last year, so they've done fantastically well this year to really crack on. You can see they're unbeaten in their last 5. Looking at it here, Bury have drawn their last 5 games in a row, which is rather funny. And yeah, Birmingham doing well too. You'll notice the likes of both Blackburn down in 9th and Millwall down in 11th. 2 teams who at one point looked like they were going to pull away at the top of the table alongside us. They have just slumped right down. Both of those teams yet to win in their last 5 games. So they're going to be very, very disappointed indeed. So anyway, today we actually take on Southend, a team who, if they were to beat us, would move within 1 point of us at the top of the table. And well, anything less than a win here could very much see us lose our grip in an automatic promotion spot, and certainly, you know, top spot in the league. Charlton, 2 points behind us with better goal difference. We have got better goals for, which I guess is a silver lining. We still do have the most goals in the league alongside Tranmere, but defensively, we've been anything less than kind of resolute, I guess you could argue. So anyway, let's get into today's game. We are taking on Southend. They're in 5th. They're in some good form. They've lost 1 of their last 5. We've lost 2 of our last 5. It's going to be tricky, but we have done very well this year in live comms. I feel like in some ways doing live commentaries has been a kind of a good luck source of sorts. As I mentioned, Boyd, a player I've actually been looking to play as our deep line playmaker. He's still not very kind of natural as a centre mid, but as a deep line playmaker, he's got a hell of a lot on offer. He's only 24 years old, so he's got, you know, a little bit of time still to develop perhaps, and I think for today's game, I'm going to give him the nod. So a bit of a challenge for him. As I mentioned, he's not really naturally a centre mid on defend, but he's going to do a job for us today. So anyway, in goal, we are going to go with Elliott. He's been struggling a little bit, as I mentioned, was out with a stubbed finger. Did miss the previous game against Walsall, which Griffiths came in for and kept a clean sheet in, which was great to see. At left back, we go with Chris Owens, who did get man of the match, actually, in that most recent game against Walsall. A good little performance for him. At right back, we of course go with Joe Edwards. Not really naturally a right back, but of course he's been called into this position with a long-term injury to O'Neill. And I don't want to say he's done well there, because he really hasn't, but he's done a job, hasn't he? You know, we brought him in. He was never really meant to be our first choice right back, and he has to kind of adapt and do as best as he can. And to be fair to him, he's done fairly well then with it. O'Neill, as you can see, kind of way on the way kind of through his rehabilitation and getting back to full fitness, he's probably not going to be occupying that position for that much longer. Anyway, at centre-back we go with Packwood at their left centre-back spots, as I mentioned. Lennon currently out injured. One of our only kind of injuries in the first team. You can see he's out for 2 to 4 weeks. As a result, Rumsby, who's in on loan from Newcastle, gets a nod. I like this guy. What I don't like is the fact that he's only got 9 jumping reach, but he's 20, he's got fantastic physicals. He is, if you go on our club profile screen, considered our key player, and I've not played him that much, because obviously with him being a player in on loan, I don't want to play him ahead of our first choice players, who I don't think there's a kind of massive gap, I guess, between them and him. But I've got to give him the nod today, and hopefully he can give a performance kind of in line with, I guess, how the media are hyping him up. Anyway, at centre mid on defend, we go with Cameron McGeehan. Cameron McGeehan, he's done okay. To be honest, he's not been standout, but then I don't think we've ever had a centre defensive mid in this system who's been standout. And in some ways, if the centre defensive mid isn't, getting a high average rating, but is kind of getting wins while he's on the pitch, it's usually a sign that he's kind of doing his job to an extent. Anyway, alongside him, as I mentioned, we go with Stephen Boyd. Really like this guy. I think he could be a fantastic player for us. And excited to see how he gets on, obviously, in this new position today. Of course, joined us on a free transfer, so he's looking like a good little bit of business so far. Jack Barmby, who's been bailing us out in recent games, starts out on the left wing. Fantastic player there. Good to see him kind of getting a good run in the first team without any injuries. And on the opposite side, we are going to go with Mkhitaryan here. Of course, I did mention the fact that I don't want to play a player who's in loan in Rumsby kind of regularly if we've got another player of an equivalent kind of, I guess, ability. But at the same time, Mayo Waters, the right winger, he's just been really poor of late. It's difficult to justify playing this guy in the first team when, Mkhitaryan is doing as well as he is in terms of getting assists and goals. So he gets the nod. And then in the final third, of course, we go with James Maddison as our centre attacking midfielder. Fan favourite, consistent performer. Maybe a few question marks around his recent performances. His average rating in the league was great at one point. He has tailed off, I think it's fair to say, in recent months. And, up top, we go with Kevin Kelly. As I mentioned, a 7-game draw, kind of goalless drought ended last time out. Hopefully he can get some more goals for us today. We are at home against Southend, so I'm optimistic we can hopefully get a result. Of course, in the last few live comms, we've taken on the likes of Millwall and Blackburn, who are teams who are right hot on our heels as I guess Southend are today. So I'm hoping we can, continue that run of form we've got going here. Hoping that we can get the result that we need. We are not, out of the woods yet. 10 games left. The league is still very, very tight at the top. A defeat here could see us slip out the automatic promotion spot. We've been fortunate, I guess, in the sense that it seems like when we've been slipping up, other teams have been slipping up. I think it says a lot the fact that Bury, who have drawn their last 5 games in a row, have somehow managed to still hold on to third place, and yet they're not actually that far behind us still. It really gives you an idea of how close the league has been, and there has been a few times actually where Bury have been ahead of us in the league. Anyway, looking at the game early on here, you can see very tight 50-50 possession, both teams having some opportunities. Southend slightly more, although don't really want to read into that too much. You don't really know where those shots are coming from. Not the most lively of starts to a game, although Maddison, long range set piece, Angus Gunn holds in onto it in goal, and I always get a little bit excited when Maddison has a free kick at the edge of the area. There's an air of anticipation in the air. But anyway, we're on the attack here. Boyd, nice bit of build-up play. Number 19, keep an eye on him. The new free transfer, Kelly, to Mkhitaryan, hits it narrowly over the crossbar. Was a clear-cut opportunity for the youngster on loan from Atletico, but did well to get into that position. Nice play by Kevin Kelly, just to drop into the hole, hold up the play, and then lay on the ball, obviously, for Mkhitaryan, making a really nice run beyond. However, the finish, just a little bit lacking. But, it's good to see. It's a sign of attacking intent, I guess, as far as I'm concerned. And with, 20 minutes gone, that remains the only kind of half chance or even clear-cut chance of the game. And, it's difficult, isn't it, to pick out anything at the moment. This game has not really shown a lot for us. But, we do have the ball here. We give it away, but it's back with Barmby now. Inside to Boyd, number 19, inside to Maddison. Mkhitaryan beats one man, inside to Kelly. Kelly narrowly wide, and, Kelly put through a pass to Mkhitaryan before. This time it's Mkhitaryan putting through the pass to Kelly. 2 chances missed. Now we have a set piece to deal with. Headed away nicely though. Now can Kelly look for runners on ahead. Big ball over the top. Jack Barmby, loads of space for him to maraud into the number 11. Beats his man out wide. Can he get the ball into the mixer? Crosses it in. Back post Kelly. Almost there. Angus Gunn holds on to the play. The number 13 there. And now they're going to look to perhaps build an attack from the back. Southend. Ball going to be up in the air. Hurst actually does well to kind of get it round our defence, but we do manage to win the ball back, but we do give it straight back to them. But, well, that was a lovely little tackle. And we're on the attack once more. Kelly, not the paciest of lone strikers, but he's going alone here. And, well, the finish at the end of it was a little bit lacking, wasn't it? That was underwhelming. I got my hopes up then. You know, you see your striker beat a few men, you're thinking, is this going to be the wonder goal that you see once in a Football Manager? Or is it going to be one of the millions of shots you see that fly into Rose Ed when a player goes on that kind of run? There's maybe one or two every year where they fly in that situation. I love them when they happen. When it doesn't happen, there's just a sense of... I guess, lack of fulfilment in terms of the shots just been wasted. But anyway, looking at the stats here, Southend have had a few chances. You know, possession's been close. They're yet to create anything in the way of a clear-cut chance, Southend, and we've not seen a lot from them going forward. At the same time, I'm a little bit kind of, I guess, mindful of the fact that we've had opportunities that we've not taken, and I look at the average ratings, Maddison on a 6.4. I kind of mentioned the fact sometimes he just seems to go missing, and it feels like it might be one of those games today. Anyway, I'm going to tell the players I'm far from pleased. I want to get them fired up. Good response all in all. I also want to try and encourage them if we can. I want to get them motivated for this second half. Hopefully it can be better. A draw, not necessarily the end of the world, to be honest. We are dropping down to second as things stand because, well, Charlton have just taken the lead against Notts County. But I feel like if the second half goes as the first half's gone, we're going to get a few chances. Maybe we can take one or two of them. That's really, I guess, what we're hoping for here. But anyway, 40 minutes remaining. I've not used any subs yet. McGeehan not had the greatest of games at centre defensive mid. I think we're going to take him off. In his place, I'm going to bring in Rojas. Of course, the youngster from Panama. He's not had an instant impact, to be honest. He's not been a standout player. He's very frequently been coming on off the bench. He just lacks some of the technicals I like in a centre mid, but he's got a good pace, and that serves him well on off the bench. And, well, we probably should have scored then. Another clear-cut chance is wasted. There's a big question mark, isn't there? I keep getting this in these kind of matches. I had it a few games ago now where we miss a few clear-cut chances and I sit there thinking, would Evans have scored them? And I know I can't think like that. I can't think if we hadn't sold one of our star players, if the board hadn't decided to let him go, would he have scored it? But I can't help but have that kind of thought pop into my mind, I guess. Maddison's had a really poor game in the end. I'm actually going to take him off. I'm going to move Stephen Boyd up into that attacking midfielder spot, and I'm going to bring in James Murphy at deep line playmaker. Really a big shame for James Maddison. As I said, some games he seems to go missing. I do know he has weak, kind of important matches as a con against his name. And it does feel like sometimes when you need a man to stand up and be countered, he isn't around. You can't find him in the crowd to stand up. But, well, we've made a change. Let's see if it works in our favour. Murphy, who's just come off the bench, number 14, giving away the ball immediately. Not exactly what we want to see, but we are gifted possession quite kindly by Southend. A draw, as I said earlier, not the worst result in the world, but if we can go on the attack, I'll take it. And, well, Boyd, number 19, to Rojas. Nice little bit of build-up play here. Boyd once more. Marauding forward, Kelly. Boyd hits it. He scores. Why am I playing him at deep line playmaker? Bold move, perhaps, to take off Maddison, but at least for now it's paid off. Boyd with the finish. Lovely little strike, actually, by the man. I think that's his first ever goal for the club as well. Nice little bit of build-up play. Did a little intricate, I think, 1-2 with Kevin Kelly. And he just slotted it into that far corner, didn't he? Southend go a goal down. It's been coming, to be fair. We've had better opportunities than this, but, well, I'm grateful for a chance to be taken. It's taken first time by him, slotted into the bottom corner. Keeper can't get down to it. And, yeah, we find ourselves a goal up here. Part of me wants to go slightly more defensive perhaps now. Not long left in this game, really. It's probably in our interest just to drop everyone that little bit deeper. We don't really need to push for a second, I don't feel like, at this point. I want us to be a little bit more structured in our play. We're going to play, I think, just on defensive. We're going to look to waste time where we can. Let's just try and hit them on the counter, I guess, if we can. But in reality, I don't think there's much of a motivating factor really to commit too many men to the attack. We have still got one sub left over. I'm going to hold on to it at least for now. Bit of a bold move this maybe to go more defensive. It's something that in previous FMs I wouldn't have really have done. But I do feel like with us being an underdog in League One, there's a natural, I guess, bias for the AI to want to go more attacking against us and push men forward. And, well, we need to get rid of the ball there. My heart can't deal with the ball pinging around in our area. But, well, we might be able to hit them on the counter here. Boyd, who scored already, to Mikatir, switches it nicely to Jack Barmby. Options inside, crosses it. Unfortunately, no one there. I think that was actually a shot by him in the end, which is a little bit concerning. But, yeah, as I was going to say, I wouldn't normally go defensive like this in previous Football Managers. But I feel like with us being such a kind of minnow in this league, teams are so much more willing, I guess, to go really attacking against us. And we do have to absorb a lot of pressure as Elliott makes a fantastic stop there. What a stop by the keeper. Going to go on contain just to end out this game, I think. There's a set piece that we do need to deal with. I noticed Rojas, who came on, is on a booking. Love smashes it only just narrowly wide. That's a little bit concerning, isn't it? Is that Archie Love? I need to check now. If it's Archie Love, we let him go a while ago, if I remember correctly. Was it Archie Love? I can't even find it. It's Donald Love. It's a different Love. There's two. He must be a brother, I guess. Is he a brother? He is a brother. Look, we had his brother once upon a time. There's a throwback. Wow. Okay, small world. Let's get on with the game. Let's go. It's like one of those moments when you meet someone and you realise that you have a mutual friend. That's how I feel right now, having noticed Donald Love on the other team. Anyway, Elliott holds on to it. Jack, this is a massive game in the terms of our promotion bid, and you're sat kind of just reacquainting yourself with the Love family. I don't know. Answers on a postcard. Right. Let's change things up here. Barmby's not had the greatest of games. I'm going to bring in McLaughlin just to end the game. Some fresh legs out on the left wing. I might also just drop Mkhitaryan and McLaughlin just deeper. I know that Mkhitaryan can't actually play as a right midfielder. It's kind of a chance I'm willing to take, I guess, just to try and kill off this game if we can. 5 minutes remaining. Southend, they're going to be looking, I imagine, to try and get something from this game. A win here would be absolutely massive as far as we're concerned, and we're just going to try and hold on to it, I guess, really. Looking at the stats, Southend in the second half, they've come at us hard. They've not created a whole lot of opportunities, and they've not taken them either. And what it looks like, that Boyd strike from the man who signed on a free transfer is going to be a difference maker. Could be a very crucial signing, I imagine, in the context of our season. But what a result that is. A fantastic little game there. Sees us actually pull 2 points clear of Charlton, who actually won as well. So he didn't pull clear of them at all. Birmingham won. Bury lost, I assume, or drew. They've been on a drawing one, so they probably drew. They did. For the 6th time in a row, Bury have drawn. Tranmere leapfrog Southend. We do have Bury and Charlton in the not-so-distant future. Charlton will be the next episode. It's not very far away, but it is a massive game for us. I'm sure you guys want to see it. If we just look at that, you can see it's only in, 2 games' time? It's going to be midway through this month, but it's going to be a big game. Charlton, of course, flying high, a team who, they're not a bad squad. They've got a very good squad, actually. Obviously, we're finding a little bit of form, which is good to see. 4 wins in our last 5. Charlton here, they actually finished 17th 2 years ago, 7th the year before this. And, well, they've got good expectations, I guess, to do well this year. And if we look at their form, they've not lost this calendar year, and we're in March, so we really can't afford to underestimate them. Although, that said, they have got Birmingham, who are 3rd in their next game, and Fleetwood in 8th, and Millwall. So they've got some tricky games coming up. For people wondering about our run into the end of the season, as you can see, we've got Preston and Port Vale in 19th and 16th. We then have Charlton. We then have Portsmouth and Oldham, followed by Crewe. Bury's going to be a big game potentially towards the end of the season in 4th, Wickham in 22nd, Tranmere in 5th. Just a quick look at the league table, obviously. I feel like I talk about this pretty much every episode, but it's still ridiculously tight. These team positions could change. In terms of where we lie, we are now 9 points actually in the playoffs, which is good to see. Millwall have certainly slumped. Kind of hoping now that Charlton can slip up against some of these teams, the likes of Millwall and Fleetwood. If Birmingham and Charlton could draw next game, that would be kind of fantastic as far as we're concerned. But really, we need to start focusing on our own games. For too long, particularly in this kind of little run we've gone on here, really since the start of December, where we got, 3 wins in almost kind of a 2-month period. It was a really bad run of form, as you can see. During these games, I'm looking at the opposition kind of results and hoping that they're going in our favour. I don't want to be in that situation. I want our team to try and kind of, I guess, seize control of our own fate and really, get the result that we need, and rather than kind of hoping that other teams slip up around us and that we just can kind of scrape by. And well, we've started to do that a little bit, but when you look at the win margins, it's been fairly narrow. And with that Charlton game on the horizon, I think it's going to be very, very important, certainly, that we beat Preston and then we beat Port Vale if we can. But anyway, guys, that is going to wrap up today's episode from me. Hopefully you enjoyed as always. Boyd getting the man of the match performance. Well played, that man. Obviously training him to play centre mid. He's got a way to go to get familiar there, but he could be a very good player for us, the 24-year-old. Definitely like the look of him. Certainly one who I think we can maybe build a squad around. If we don't get promoted this year, obviously, hope that we do, and then I don't have to even think about that, but I'm trying to keep my mind, I guess, open to all possibilities. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap everything up from me. If you've got any comments with regards to today's episode, as always, feel free to leave them down in the comments. If you've enjoyed, leave a like, and other than that, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.